Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Ketubot. We are up to Perikei Mishna Zayin. Today's Mishnah should be Leilu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Alayev, Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelo, ben Chana bad Miriam, Menuchatam began Eden, Amen. And Lehavdil ben Chaim lechaim, v'derefua shelemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, betoch shah Cholei Israel. The Mishnah begins, Amoredet al Ba'ala, if a woman rebels against her husband, meaning she refuses to cohabit with him, she refuses to have marital relations with him, Pochatin lah miktubata shiva dinarin b'Shabbat. 7 dinars are deducted from her ktubah every week, 1 dinar for each day. Now a dinar is the same as a zuz, so it's like saying 7 zuz are deducted from her ktubah every week, 1 zuz for each day. Rabbi Yehuda Omer shiva terapa'ikin. However, Rabbi Yehuda says that 7 terapa'ikin are deducted from her ktubah every week, 1 terapa'ikin for each day. A terapa'ik is 4 dinarin, the Rav explains. So it would be more according to Rabbi Yehuda. Another dispute, ad matai hu pochet, until when may the husband keep deducting? Ad keneged ktubata, until he deducts the entire amount of her ktubah payment, but no longer. Ktubah payments include everything that is written in the ktubah document, namely the standard 100 or 200 zuz, plus any additional amount the husband commits to give her, as well as the value of her tzon barzil properties. Once nothing remains in her ktubah, he must divorce her. He may not continue beyond that point and make her obligated to pay him. Rabbi Yossi Omer le'olam hu pochet v'olech. However, Rabbi Yossi says that he may keep deducting forever, even if he deducts more than the amount of her ktubah, and she does not have the means to pay him the difference. Shema tipol la Yerusha makom acher goveh himena, because an inheritance might falter from another place, meaning she might inherit property from her father, and he will be able to collect from it. The Mishnah discusses what happens when the husband rebels. Similarly, if a man rebels against his wife and refuses to cohabit with her, 3 dinars are added to her ktubah every week, half a dinar for each day except Shabbat. No money is added for Shabbat, because that would be like earning money on Shabbat, which is prohibited. When the wife rebels, however, the husband is permitted to deduct from the ktubah even for Shabbat, because that is not a positive earning for the husband, but merely the prevention of a possible loss. The amount deducted when a wife rebels against her husband is more than the amount added when a husband rebels against his wife, because a man who is denied cohabitation suffers more than a woman does. Rabbi Yehuda Omer shelosha terapa'ikin. Rabbi Yehuda says that 3 terapiks are added to her ktubah every week, half a terapik for each day except Shabbat. And that is in Rabotai of Mishnah Zayin. Now, a husband's obligation to support his wife includes providing her with food, clothing, and other basic needs. Mishnah Chet states the minimum that a husband must provide. Hamashret ishto lidei shalish, if one gives his wife food through a third party, meaning he does not eat with her, but sends her food, lo yivchola mishne kabin chitin o me'arba kabin seurin. He may not give her less than 2 calves of wheat or 4 calves of barley each week. Now, the commentators explain this is not allowed unless she gives her permission. So again, Hamashret ishto lidei shalish, if one gives his wife food to a third party, meaning he does not eat with her but sends her food, he may not give her less than 2 calves of wheat or 4 calves of barley each week. These are the minimum amounts that even a poor man must provide his wife. A more affluent husband must support her in a manner that befits her wealth. 2 calves of wheat produce the volume of 48 eggs of flour, which provides 16 loaves of bread, each loaf containing the volume of 3 eggs of flour. This is enough for 2 meals each day and 2 extra meals for guests. The third meal that one must eat on Shabbat is not included in this calculation. Now, according to this Tana, if barley is given, its measure must be double the required measure of wheat. The next Tana disagrees. Amar Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, Lo pasak la seurim el Rabbi Shmuel she'er samuch le'Edom. Only Rabbi Shmuel set the measure of barley for her meals at twice the measure of wheat, for he was close to the land of Edom, where the barley was of extremely poor quality. In other places, however, the amount of barley does not need to be so great. Rather, the court decides how much barley is required. According to the Tanna Kama, however, a double quantity of barley is required in all places. The Mishnah continues listing the foods that a husband must provide his wife each week. ונותן לה חצי כף קטנית וחצי לוג שמן וכף גרות או מנה דבלה. He must also give her a half a kav of legumes, half a log of oil, and a kav of dried figs, or a maneh of pressed figs. A kav is a measure of volume, 24 eggs, and a maneh is a measure of weight, the weight of the maneh coin. Dried figs were measured by volume, while pressed figs were measured by weight. The Mishnah lists non-food items. V'noten lah mitam mapatz u'machzelet. He must also give her a bed, a cushion, and a mat to sleep on. And those times a bed typically consisted of a frame with ropes stretched from one side to the other. A hard mat was laid over the stretched ropes to prevent them from cutting into one's skin. And a softer mat or cushion was placed over the hard mat. V'noten lah kippah leroshah v'chagor lemotnea. He must also give her a cap for her head, a belt for her waist. U'minalim mimoed lemoed. A new pair of shoes from one holiday to the next. Now the Tana refers to one who lives in a rocky, rugged place where one's shoes are quickly worn out. Only in such a place must a husband give his wife 3 pairs of shoes a year. He should give them before the festivals of Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, because he fulfills the mitzvah of gladdening one's wife on festivals. V'kelim shel 50 zuz mishana l'shana, and 50 zuz worth of other clothes from one year to the next. Now the words from one year to the next refers not only to the 50 zuz of clothes, but also to the cap and belt. However, the words shoes from one holiday to the next are not connected to what comes before or after it. It is only shoes that must be given at each holiday. As for the bed, cushion, and mat, a husband does not have to replace them on a regular basis, but only as needed. And the sum of 50 zuz for clothing applies only at the time of the Mishnah in Eretz Yisrael. In other times and places, the husband must provide the minimum that accords with the prevailing customs and practices, whether it is more or less than 50 zuz, as the Rambam writes in Ilchot Ishut, chapter 13, Halakha 2. Likewise, the types and amounts of food depend on the place and time. The Mishnah elaborates on the 50 zuz allowance for clothes. He does not give her new clothes in the summer because they are thick and hot, and not worn out clothes in the winter because they will not protect her from the cold. Rather, he gives her 50 zuz worth of new clothes in the winter when she needs warm clothing. And she covers herself with them in the summer when they are worn out. And the worn out clothing is hers to keep even after he gives her new clothes in the winter, because she needs to wear them when she is in Idah. If, when a woman is permitted to her husband, she wears the same clothes as she did when she was in Ida, she will be repulsive to him. She should therefore have a different inferior set of clothes to wear specifically when she is in Ida, as the Gemara explains on page 65b in Mesechet Ketubot. And that is in Abotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.